Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome back to Time for Gardening. It's so lovely to have you here with me today. Do you have that one awkward spot in your garden? Perhaps a dark corner that only grows weeds, a tricky side passage, or a patch that just feels forgotten? Well, what if I told you that neglected nook could actually become the most enchanting part of your entire outdoor space? Today, we are uncovering the magic of transforming those challenging areas into whimsical cottage garden havens. I've gathered 30 unique inspirations that prove every single inch of your garden has blooming potential. You'll want to stay with me until the very end, because some of these simple design secrets will completely change the way you look at your backyard. Let's start gardening. Most of us have that one flat, lifeless fence or brick wall that makes a corner feel cramped and claustrophobic. By mounting an arched vintage window frame fitted with a weather-resistant mirror, you instantly break that barrier and trick the eye into seeing a portal to a hidden garden beyond. It's a simple architectural trick that adds immediate depth, turning a dead end into an invitation for curiosity. As the sunlight hits the glass, it reflects the surrounding roses and foxgloves, doubling the color and light in what was once a dark, overlooked spot. This mirrored reflection creates a rhythmic harmony between the real blooms and their twin images, making your garden feel like an endless, whimsical sanctuary where the boundaries of your property simply melt away into the greenery. There is something deeply nostalgic about an old, forgotten cruiser bike tucked away in a shed, but in a cottage garden, it becomes a beautiful piece of living history. By leaning a vintage bicycle against a bare wall or fence, you provide a sturdy, whimsical structure for climbing plants like sweet peas or clematis to weave through the spokes and handlebars. It transforms a stationary object into a dynamic, blooming sculpture that tells a story of journeys past. Once the vines begin to take hold, the bicycle practically disappears into a cloud of fragrance and color, with flowers spilling out of the front basket like a waterfall. This transformation turns an awkward, empty patch of dirt into a focal point that captures the found object charm essential to the cottage aesthetic, proving that even the most mundane items can host extraordinary beauty. Narrow side passages are often the most neglected parts of a home, frequently used only for trash cans or storage, but they hold incredible potential for a specialized culinary retreat. By stacking weathered wooden crates or installing simple shelving, you can utilize the vertical space to house a variety of tea time essentials like mint, chamomile, and lemon balm. This turns a functional walkway into a fragrant alley of herbs that delights the senses every time you step outside. This organized greenery does more than just provide fresh ingredients. It softens the harsh lines of the house and provides a lush, green view from your side windows. Imagine the peace of stepping into this shaded alcove to harvest a handful of fresh herbs, knowing that this once-forgotten corridor is now a productive and beautiful extension of your kitchen garden. In those damp, heavily shaded corners where grass refuses to grow, the traditional solution is often to cover it with mulch and walk away, but a Stumpery offers a much more enchanting alternative. By arranging old logs, bark, and upturned roots, you create a naturalistic habitat that celebrates the beauty of decay and the resilience of woodland life. This intentional arrangement provides the perfect architectural backdrop for shade-loving plants like ferns and hostas to thrive in the cool, moist pockets. As moss begins to crawl over the logs and bleeding hearts dangle their delicate bells between the roots, the corner takes on a misty, ethereal quality reminiscent of an ancient English forest. It becomes a quiet sanctuary for reflection, where the textures of wood and leaf take center stage, proving that even the darkest spots in your yard can hold a magical prehistoric charm. A solitary birdbath sitting in the middle of a patchy lawn often looks lonely and out of place, but it can serve as the perfect anchor for a miniature wildflower meadow. Instead of mowing right up to the base, allow a circle of wildflowers, cosmos, and poppies to grow tall around the pedestal, creating a lush island of color. This surround sound style of planting provides cover for birds as they visit, making them feel safer and more at home in your garden. The result is a buzzing hub of activity where pollinators and songbirds meet amidst a sea of swaying stems. By surrounding the water source with these wild elements, you bridge the gap between manicured design and nature's spontaneity, turning a simple garden ornament into a thriving, colorful ecosystem that feels like a hidden treasure in the center of your yard. An awkward slope or a dry, gravelly patch of ground can be a gardener's nightmare, but it's actually the perfect stage for a bit of garden theater. By partially burying a large terracotta urn on its side, you can create the whimsical illusion of a spilled flower pot. This design choice uses the ground as a canvas, where low-growing plants like blue lobelia or alyssum are planted to look as though they are flowing out of the mouth of the jar. This floral liquid creates a sense of movement in a static space, drawing the eye across the ground in a graceful flowing line. It's a wonderful way to add a touch of humor and artistry to a difficult area, turning a potential eyesore into a conversation piece that looks as though a giant has accidentally left a trail of blossoms behind. Low spots in the yard that collect water during the rain are often seen as problems, but they are actually opportunities to channel the romance of Claude Monet's famous garden. By installing a small arched wooden bridge, perhaps painted in a classic Giverny blue, over a dry creek bed or a drainage ditch, you add an instant sense of destination. This structure provides a physical and visual transition that makes the garden feel larger and more complex. Surrounding the bridge with moisture-loving Japanese irises and tall grasses enhances the water garden feel, even when the ground is dry. Crossing over that tiny bridge, however short the journey, creates a psychological shift that makes you feel as though you've entered a separate, more peaceful world, proving that even a drainage problem can be solved with pure elegance. When horizontal space is tight, particularly along a narrow fence or a garage wall, the only way to go is up. An old wooden ladder leaned against the wall serves as a charming rustic framework for a vertical herb tapestry. By hanging mismatched ceramic pots from each rung, you create a living wall of rosemary, thyme, and oregano that is as functional as it is beautiful, bringing the garden up to eye level. This vertical arrangement not only saves space but also makes harvesting much easier on the back, which is a welcome relief for any dedicated gardener. The sight of cascading herbs softening the hard surface of the wall creates a lush, layered look that makes even the smallest patio feel like a bountiful green escape.
Thank you.
The gnarled roots at the base of a large, old tree can be a difficult place to plant, as the shade is deep and the soil is full of competition. However, this is the ideal location to lean into the whimsical side of cottage gardening by creating a tiny fairy tale vignette. A small handcrafted fairy door, attached to the trunk, surrounded by a miniature path of white pebbles and tiny clumps of moss, turns a problematic root zone into a magical focal point. Framing this miniature world with delicate, small-scale plants like miniature roses or Irish moss helps to ground the fantasy in reality. It's a delightful surprise for grandchildren and visitors alike, reminding us that the magic of a garden lies in the small, hidden details that require us to slow down and look closely. Most of us have an industrial-looking air conditioning unit that disrupts the soft, romantic flow of our outdoor space. Instead of letting it remain an eyesore, you can build a simple white lattice screen around it to create a hideaway that blends into the garden. This structure serves as the perfect trellis for fragrant climbers like star jasmine or honeysuckle, which use their lush foliage to mask the machine both visually and audibly. Once the vines have fully matured, the mechanical hum of the AC is softened by the rustle of leaves, and the industrial gray is replaced by a wall of white blossoms. This clever disguise turns a necessary utility into a vertical garden, ensuring that the peaceful atmosphere of your cottage sanctuary is never interrupted by the modern world. A dusty and used corner near the back door can easily become a dumping ground for empty pots, but it has the potential to be a charming working vignette. By repurposing an old vanity or a weathered wooden desk as a potting bench, you create a space that celebrates the craft of gardening itself. Decorating the surface with terracotta stacks, vintage hand tools, and a few choice succulents turns a chore-focused area into a beautiful display of your hobby. This transformation provides a functional spot to repot plants while keeping everything organized and within reach. When framed by a few tall foxgloves or a climbing rose, the potting bench looks less like a workstation and more like a curated piece of garden art, honoring the daily rituals that keep your garden blooming. Gardens are usually designed for the daytime, but there is a special kind of magic that happens after the sun goes down. By dedicating a forgotten corner to a moonlight garden, you can create a space that glows in the dark using plants with white flowers or silver foliage, such as moonflowers, white tulips, and dusty miller. These pale colors catch and reflect the light of the moon and stars, creating a luminous sanctuary for late evening strolls. The experience is further enhanced by choosing night-scented blooms like jasmine or nicotiana, which release their fragrance as the air cools. Sitting in this glowing nook after dusk provides a serene, almost ethereal experience, proving that your garden's beauty doesn't have to fade once the sun sets. A narrow, muddy strip of land between the house and the fence, often referred to as a dog run, is rarely a place of beauty, but it can be transformed with a bit of artistry. By creating a DIY pebble mosaic path using various shades of stones, you can turn a utilitarian walkway into a permanent work of art. Lined with hardy, fragrant edges like lavender, this path becomes a sensory journey through what was once a dead zone. The intricate swirls and patterns of the stones provide visual interest, even in the dead of winter when the flowers have faded. Walking on this textured surface encourages a slower pace, allowing you to appreciate the craftsmanship beneath your feet and the lush greenery that now flourishes where mud once reigned. In a large open yard, it can be difficult to define separate rooms or borders without spending a fortune on fencing. An antique iron bed frame, repurposed as a giant trellis in the middle of a messy patch, offers a creative and low-cost solution. By planting climbing roses or clematis at the base of the headboard and footboard, you create a vertical island of color that stands out against the lawn. As the roses begin to drape over the iron scrollwork, the bed frame looks as though it's being reclaimed by nature, creating a romantic, sleeping beauty vibe. This unexpected focal point gives the garden a sense of history and whimsy, proving that a little imagination can turn a piece of junk into the crown jewel of your outdoor space. area around a mailbox is often a no man's land of weeds and dry grass, yet it's the first thing people see when they arrive at your home. You can transform this awkward roadside spot by wrapping the post in a climbing vine like morning glories and surrounding the base with tough, sun-loving perennials like black-eyed Susans. This creates a miniature cottage oasis that provides instant curb appeal and a warm welcome to anyone passing by. This small-scale garden requires very little maintenance once established, yet it makes a huge impact on the overall feel of your property. It's a wonderful way to extend the beauty of your cottage garden all the way to the street, sharing a little bit of your time for gardening magic with the entire neighborhood. A long plain wooden fence can feel monotonous and heavy, effectively closing in a garden and making it feel smaller. A simple but effective solution is to hang traditional window boxes directly onto the fence panels at eye level. Filling these boxes with trailing petunias, bacopa, and ivy brings the color up off the ground and breaks up the flat surface of the wood with vibrant life. This vertical gardening technique allows you to enjoy blooms at a height where they can be easily seen and smelled without bending over. It transforms a boring boundary into a wall of flowers, making your garden boundaries feel soft, lush, and intentionally designed, rather than just a functional enclosure. We often overlook the tightest corners of our garden, thinking they are too small for any real use, but they are actually the best spots for a private retreat. By placing a single wrought iron chair in a secluded corner and surrounding it with tall, stately plants like foxgloves and delphiniums, you create a reading nook that feels like a secret room. The tall blooms act as living walls, providing a sense of enclosure and privacy. Tucked away in this floral embrace, you have the perfect spot to enjoy a morning cup of tea or get lost in a good book. It's a reminder that even a few square feet of space can become a sanctuary if you choose the right plants to create a sense of scale and intimacy. If you have a corner with poor soil or a gravelly surface where nothing seems to grow, container gardening is your best friend. Stacking vintage galvanized wash tubs or buckets of varying sizes creates a tiered effect that mimics a cascading waterfall of plants. Using spiller plants like Silver Falls Dichandra, alongside bright annuals creates a rustic farmhouse-inspired display that adds height and texture to the space. This mobile garden can be rearranged whenever the mood strikes, allowing you to refresh the look of your corner with ease. The weathered metal of the buckets provides a beautiful muted contrast to the bright greens and pinks of the flowers, capturing that perfect shabby chic cottage look that feels both effortless and curated. The narrow gap between the side of the house and a perimeter fence is often a drafty, uninviting space, but it's actually the perfect location for a romantic transition. By installing a simple metal archway and training David Austin roses to climb over it, you transform a side yard into a grand entrance. The arch creates a frame for the view beyond, making the garden feel like a series of interconnected discoveries. As you walk beneath the arch, the scent of the roses creates a sensory threshold that signals you are entering a special place. This architectural addition gives a sense of purpose to a narrow walkway, turning a transition zone into one of the most photographed and beloved spots in the entire garden. A steep, rocky slope that is dangerous or difficult to mow is often left to the weeds, but it can be the most colorful part of your garden if you lean into its rugged nature. By planting creeping phlox and various sedums between the stones, you can create a wild rockery that blooms in a vibrant carpet of color every spring. These plants love the sharp drainage provided by the rocks and will eventually spill over the edges like colorful lava. This low-maintenance solution turns a landscaping problem into a beautiful, natural feature that requires almost no intervention. The contrast between the hard, gray stones and the soft, vibrant flowers creates a dynamic landscape that feels like a slice of a mountain meadow right in your backyard. A large tree with low-hanging branches can sometimes cast a shadow that feels heavy or gloomy, especially in the evening. You can lighten the mood by hanging a collection of vintage-style solar lanterns from the branches at varying heights. During the day, the lanterns act as charming ornaments, and at night, they transform the area under the tree into a warm, glowing canopy. This simple addition makes the space beneath the tree feel like a cozy outdoor room, perfect for evening conversations or quiet reflection. The flickering lights dancing among the leaves add a touch of fairy tale magic, proving that with the right lighting, even the darkest tree corner can become an enchanting destination. For a sunny, dry patch of ground where the soil is a bit thin, an old wooden wagon will can serve as both a structural guide and a piece of rustic art. By laying the wheel flat on the ground and planting different varieties of herbs like thyme, oregano, and sage in each spoke, you create a neat, organized culinary garden. The wood of the wheel helps to retain a little moisture and suppress weeds between the different plants. This herb wheel becomes a beautiful focal point that pays homage to traditional farmhouse gardening. It's a practical way to keep your invasive herbs contained while creating a visually satisfying geometric pattern that adds character to an otherwise plain patch of dirt. When a tree has to be removed, the remaining stump is often seen as a frustrating obstacle to be ground down or hidden. However, a sturdy stump can be repurposed as a natural pedestal for a high-quality garden urn or a large planter. By leveling the top and placing a dramatic, oversized pot filled with cascading flowers, you turn a reminder of loss into a celebration of new life. This elevated display brings your flowers closer to eye level and gives the garden a sense of height and structure. It's a clever way to use what you already have, turning a problem stump into a regal throne for your most beautiful and prized blooms. A patch of dense shrubs or an overgrown corner can feel like a dead zone, where the eye just stops, but a hidden path can change everything. By laying down a winding trail of mismatched flagstones that disappears into the greenery, you create a sense of mystery and exploration. Even if the path only leads to a small bench or a bird feeder, the act of going makes the garden feel much larger than its actual footprint. Walking this narrow, winding trail feels like a private journey through a secret woods. It encourages you to step off the main lawn and immerse yourself in the textures and scents of the deeper garden, proving that the best parts of a cottage garden are often the ones you have to discover for yourself. Sometimes an outdoor patio feels too exposed because it lacks a clear boundary on one side. By attaching a single lattice panel perpendicular to the house, you can create a privacy wing that defines the space without blocking it off entirely. This single panel serves as a vertical garden for fragrant jasmine, providing both a visual screen and a wall of perfume for your seating area. This simple architectural addition creates the feeling of an outdoor room, making your patio feel more secure and intimate. The sight of green leaves and white flowers right next to your seating area brings the garden closer to the home, blurring the lines between indoor and outdoor living. A plain, high fence or a bare corner near a wall can often feel a bit flat and uninteresting. You can add height and a sense of life by installing a village of birdhouses on wooden poles of varying heights. Painting them in soft, cottage-inspired pastels makes them a beautiful decorative feature, even before the birds move in. Once the birds begin to nest, this corner becomes a hub of activity, filled with song and movement. It's a wonderful way to attract wildlife to your garden, while adding a playful vertical element that draws the eye upward and fills an empty space with charm. A standard evergreen hedge or a chain-link fence can be functional, but they lack the romantic diversity of a cottage garden. A tapestry hedge solves this by mixing different flowering shrubs like lilac, mock orange, and flowering currant in a single row. This creates a boundary that changes with the seasons, offering a shifting palette of colors and scents throughout the year. The varied leaf textures and bloom times make the edge of your property feel like a lush, informal forest edge, rather than a rigid wall. It provides a beautiful, soft backdrop for your perennial beds and ensures that your garden boundary is just as interesting as the flowers planted in front of it. An unused gravel patch or a dry paved corner is the perfect spot to create a cozy hearth outdoors. By placing a clay chiminea in the center and surrounding it with soft textured plants like lamb's ear, you create a destination for cool autumn evenings. The lamb's ear provides a silvery, velvet-like contrast to the rustic orange of the terracotta clay. Sitting by the fire as the scent of burning wood mingles with the surrounding lavender creates a deeply relaxing atmosphere. It turns an unproductive, hardscaped area into a functional living space that extends your garden enjoyment well into the evening and later into the season. For a garden in a dry, sandy, or coastal area, traditional wooden edging can rot or look out of place. Using pieces of weathered driftwood as a natural border for your garden beds offers a unique, textured alternative that celebrates the beauty of the elements. Interplanting these silver gray logs with sea thrift or airy wildflowers creates a rugged, shabby chic look that feels perfectly at home in a cottage setting. The driftwood provides a sturdy framework for the plants while adding an organic, sculptural quality to the edge of the bed. It's a beautiful way to bring a touch of the seaside to your garden, proving that even found materials can create a sophisticated and professional-looking landscape. We often hesitate to pick flowers from our main display beds because we don't want to leave holes in the design, but a dedicated cutting patch in a hidden, sunny corner solves this perfectly. By planting rows of high-yield flowers like zinnias and dahlias in a spot that isn't central to the garden's view, you create a private floral factory. This allows you to harvest as many bouquets as you want without worrying about the garden's overall appearance. This hidden patch becomes your own private floral shop, where you can experiment with different colors and varieties just for your kitchen table. The joy of bringing a giant armful of fresh, homegrown blossoms into the house is the ultimate reward for any gardener, and this forgotten corner makes it all possible. It truly is amazing how a little bit of imagination and the right touch of cottage charm can turn a problem area into a personal sanctuary. From mirrored secret windows to fragrant herb wheels, we've explored 30 ways to reclaim your garden's forgotten corners. I hope these ideas have sparked some magic for your own outdoor space. If you found a bit of inspiration today, please give this video a like and subscribe to join our wonderful community here at Thyme for Gardening. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 30 spots are you planning to tackle first? Leave a comment below and let's keep the conversation blooming. Until next time, happy gardening!